Phoebe Gates spent years claiming that her startup would stand on its own, without relying on her father's fortune or the power of the Gates name. But now, the company is facing serious allegations that critics say could raise questions about potential federal fraud violations. According to reporting from Bloomberg, Fire's founders may have known for months that the platform was improperly claiming credit for sales, with internal messages reportedly challenging the company's original explanation. So how did the daughter of one of the world's wealthiest men find herself at the center of an alleged affiliate marketing scandal? Stay with us, because the story becomes even more complicated as new details emerge. The scandal rocking Silicon Valley's most famous family for much of her life, Phoebe Gates was known primarily as the youngest daughter of Bill Gates and Melinda French Gates, a Stanford graduate born into one of the world's most recognizable families. That began to change when she set out to build a business of her own. Together with her college roommate Sophia Kiani, Gates launched Fire, a shopping platform and browser extension designed to compare prices across thousands of retailers. Its goal was straightforward: help consumers find better deals and avoid overpaying for fashion products. The idea was appealing. The technology showed promise, and the startup quickly attracted influential supporters. Sydney Sweeney, Paris Hilton, Jessica Alba, Carly Kloss, and Mindy Kaling were among the celebrities reportedly associated with the venture as investors or backers. By the summer of 2026, Fire had evolved far beyond a small college project. The company had secured funding, attracted users, and shared revenue figures with investors and retail partners throughout the fashion and beauty industries. It also introduced additional features, including a digital closet intended to help users organize and resell clothing they already owned. From the outside, Fire appeared to be the independent success story its founders had promised, proof that Gates and Kiani could build a valuable company on their own abilities, separate from Microsoft, the Gates Foundation, and the enormous influence attached to Phoebe's family name. That image began to unravel after Bloomberg reported that a substantial portion of Fire's attributed sales may not have been legitimate. At the center of the controversy is a practice known as cookie stuffing. In affiliate marketing, companies typically earn commissions by referring shoppers who later complete a purchase. Cookie stuffing allegedly allows software to insert tracking data into a customer's browser even when the company did not genuinely influence the sale. The company can then appear responsible for a transaction generated by someone else and potentially collect a commission it did not earn. At first glance, the practice may sound like a minor technical issue, but enormous amounts of money flow through affiliate marketing programs, and deliberately taking credit for unrelated transactions can create serious concerns for retailers, investors, and regulators. When the allegations first emerged in July 2026, Fire presented the matter as a recently discovered technical problem. A spokesperson reportedly said the company had learned about the issue only within the previous 24 hours and worked overnight to correct it. The response suggested that the incident was an unintended mistake that had been identified and resolved quickly. That explanation remained largely intact until additional reporting alleged that the founders had been aware of the problem much earlier. Internal communications reportedly indicated that concerns had been raised months before Fire publicly acknowledged the issue, yet the disputed feature may have continued operating while allegedly inflating the company's reported performance. Those revelations transformed what initially appeared to be a technical controversy into a much larger scandal. The central question was no longer simply whether Fire had overstated its role in generating sales. It became a question of what Phoebe Gates and Sophia Kiani knew, when they knew it, and why the practice allegedly continued. For Phoebe, the controversy is particularly damaging because Fire was supposed to define her as an entrepreneur independent of a family's wealth and influence. Instead, the company she built to establish her own identity is now attracting scrutiny that could affect both her reputation and the Gates family name. Before examining what the reported internal messages reveal, it is important to understand who Phoebe Gates is, and how her attempt to escape a family's shadow placed her at the center of one of Silicon Valley's messiest new controversies. Who is Phoebe Gates, and how did she build Fire? Phoebe Adele Gates is the youngest of Bill Gates and Melinda French Gates' 3 children. Despite growing up with one of the most recognizable surnames in the world, she has repeatedly tried to establish an identity separate from Microsoft and her family's philanthropic empire. While her older siblings have generally maintained quieter public profiles, Phoebe embraced the spotlight relatively early. She attended high-profile galas and fashion events and developed a sizable social media following long before launching Fire. She later studied human biology and African studies at Stanford University, graduating in 2024. Her mother delivered the commencement address at the ceremony, an occasion Phoebe described as both the closing of one chapter and the quiet beginning of another. During her time at Stanford, she met Sophia Kiani, who would become both a close friend and her future business partner. Kiani had already gained public recognition as a young climate activist when the pair decided to combine their interests and launch a company. Fire entered beta testing in late 2024. Rather than presenting itself as a simple discount-finding service, the platform emphasized sustainability and more deliberate consumption. Its browser extension compared products and prices across thousands of retailers, theoretically helping consumers find better options before automatically purchasing from the first website appearing in their search results. By 2025, Gates and Kiani had been included on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list and named to Time's Time 100 Next roster of emerging leaders. Later that year, Time reportedly selected Fire as one of its best inventions, placing the young founders alongside far more established figures in technology and consumer products. Investors were also paying attention. A growing list of celebrity backers gave the company additional credibility and created the impression that Fire had real cultural and commercial momentum, not merely access to Phoebe's famous surname and network of influential connections. Outside the company, Phoebe developed a public identity centered on activism, gender equality, and openness about her experiences. She became an outspoken supporter of reproductive rights and worked with organizations including Reproductive Freedom for All, which recognized her as a rising reproductive freedom champion in 2024. She also contributed essays about gender equality to Vogue and Teen Vogue, and appeared at events such as Goalkeepers and Global Citizen Now. In April 2025, she and Kiani launched the Burnouts under Alex Cooper's Unwell Network. The podcast explored the stressful and often chaotic experience of building a startup, with Phoebe openly discussing her anxiety and tendency to second-guess how much she should reveal to a growing audience. That honesty extended to discussions about her father. While appearing in a Netflix documentary series about Bill Gates, Phoebe addressed the debunked conspiracy theories that have followed him, including false claims related to vaccines and microchips. She admitted that these rumors had affected her personal relationships and even cost her friendships. It was a revealing admission from someone who had worked hard to step outside her father's shadow. Phoebe repeatedly emphasized that Fire would succeed independently of her family's wealth and reputation. Now, critics are using those statements against her as the company faces questions about how it generated and reported sales. Phoebe's personal life had already attracted media attention, including her previously reported relationship with Arthur Donald, Paul McCartney's grandson. But that coverage pales in comparison with the scrutiny now surrounding Fire's business practices. Financial reporters, corporate attorneys, affiliate marketers, and online commentators are now examining the company's actions. To understand why the allegations have become so serious and why some commentators have referenced a theoretical 20-year federal prison sentence, it is necessary to examine the reported internal communications and the timeline behind the controversy. Inside the alleged cookie stuffing scandal, the first major sign of trouble emerged in July 2026, when Bloomberg published an investigation into Fire's affiliate marketing practices. According to the reporting, Fire's browser extension allegedly replaced referral tracking belonging to other affiliate marketers with its own identifier during checkout. This could allow Fire to receive credit, and potentially a commission, for purchases it had not meaningfully helped generate. In some cases, that commission might otherwise have gone to the creator or marketer who originally referred the customer. Fire initially characterized the problem as a technical issue. The company said it had discovered the incorrect attribution only within the previous 24 hours and had worked overnight to correct it. That response presented the incident as an unintended and rapidly resolved mistake, rather than an intentional business practice. The explanation came under greater pressure in August. A follow-up report cited internal Slack messages that reportedly indicated Gates and Kiani had known about the feature since at least December 2025, approximately 7 months before Fire said it had only recently discovered the problem. That apparent contradiction shifted attention from whether Fire had experienced a technical failure to whether its public explanation accurately reflected what company leaders knew. According to the reported messages, the disputed feature was internally referred to as Enable Coupon Auto Drop. It could allegedly be activated or deactivated remotely, raising questions about whether it was truly an unpredictable glitch or controlled part of the platform's operation. One reported message attributed to Phoebe and dated December 18, 2025, allegedly asked colleagues to verify that the feature was active across every supported website. Critics argue that the message appears difficult to reconcile with Fire's later assertion that it had only just discovered the attribution problem. Internal dashboard information described in the reporting allegedly showed that the feature remained active from December 10th until July 7th, the same day Bloomberg contacted Fire for comment. That timing has intensified suspicions that the feature was disabled in response to the investigation, although the sequence alone does not prove intent. The reported financial consequences were significant. Fire's average daily revenue allegedly fell from approximately $80,000 to between $10,000 and $28,000 after the feature was turned off. Leaked internal figures reportedly suggested that the disputed attribution method accounted for approximately 51% of the merchandise value Fire claimed to have generated in June. If accurate, those numbers would suggest that the practice was not limited to a small number of accidental transactions. Instead, it may have represented a substantial portion of Fire's reported performance during that period. Some legal commentators have argued that intentionally using deceptive tracking methods to obtain commissions could potentially raise federal wire fraud questions. Corporate attorney Ariel Givner publicly suggested that comparable conduct, if charged and proven, could carry a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years, along with possible fines and restitution. Entertainment and business outlets quickly repeated that assessment, transforming a complicated affiliate marketing dispute into an alarming headline about possible prison time. However, that 20-year figure represents a theoretical maximum associated with certain federal wire fraud convictions. It does not mean Gates or Kiani will receive such a sentence, and allegations reported in the media are not equivalent to criminal charges or finding a guilt. Whether prosecutors will investigate or pursue charges remains uncertain. Fire's subsequent response has concentrated on explaining the company's practices and limiting reputational damage. Critics have noted, however, that its statement did not clearly answer whether Gates and Kiani had known about the attribution issue for as long as the reported Slack messages suggest. That unanswered question continues to drive the controversy. Was this an honest technical failure, a poorly managed affiliate feature, or something company leaders knowingly allowed to continue? With the allegations and reported financial impact now laid out, attention is turning toward the reaction from the public, and whether Bill Gates will publicly address the scandal surrounding his daughter's company. Bill Gates' silence, public backlash, and what could happen next. Bill Gates has not publicly addressed the allegations involving his daughter's company, and there is currently no verified record of him commenting on Fire's disputed affiliate practices. But his silence has not prevented people online from forming their own conclusions. In fact, the contrast between Bill's silence and the intensity of the public reaction has become another part of the controversy. Commentators have speculated about what may be happening privately between father and daughter, despite having no confirmed information about those conversations. Forums and comment sections are filled with reactions ranging from ridicule to genuine outrage. One widely circulated comment argued that Fire's reputation within the affiliate marketing industry may be permanently damaged, and that the company could struggle to regain approval from advertising networks after allegations of this scale. Other commenters have been far less restrained, accusing Phoebe of committing fraud despite the extraordinary advantages available to her. Those accusations remain opinions rather than legal findings, but they reflect the anger surrounding the case. Much of that frustration comes back to the contradiction at the heart of Phoebe's public image. She repeatedly emphasized that she wanted to succeed without depending on her father's fortune or reputation. Critics now argue that the Gates name still influenced nearly every stage of Fire's rise, from the celebrity investors who supported the company to the enormous media attention surrounding its controversy. Without that famous surname, the dispute might have remained confined to affiliate marketing publications and technology industry circles. Instead, it became an international story almost overnight. Some online commentary has even suggested that dishonesty runs in the family. There is no evidence supporting such a sweeping claim, and the attacks arguably reveal more about the Internet's appetite for tearing down wealthy founders than they do about Bill Gates or his family. This is also not the first time Phoebe has faced criticism connected to her surname. She has previously spoken about losing friendships because of baseless conspiracy theories involving her father's global health work. Long before Fire existed, Being a Gates already came with complicated expectations, scrutiny, and public hostility. The current controversy is different, however, because it concerns decisions allegedly made inside Phoebe's own company. Reporting based on internal records suggests that Fire's leadership may have known about the disputed attribution feature months before the company publicly described it as a recently discovered technical problem. Those claims have not been proven in court, but they place Phoebe at the center of a controversy involving her own leadership rather than her father's reputation. The practical consequences for Fire could also be substantial. The company has reportedly started reversing affected transactions with brand partners while attempting to restore confidence among retailers and affiliate networks. Rebuilding those relationships may take far longer than correcting the technical feature itself. Trust is particularly important in affiliate marketing because retailers depend on accurate tracking to determine which platforms, creators, and advertisers genuinely generated a sale. If partners believe Fire claimed credit for transactions it did not influence, convincing them to work with a company again could become one of its greatest challenges. Then there's the unresolved legal question. No formal criminal charges have been publicly announced as of this reporting. However, some attorneys and online commentators have drawn comparisons between the alleged conduct and federal wire fraud, raising the possibility of regulatory investigations or civil litigation. Those comparisons should not be mistaken for proof that a crime occurred. Any criminal case would require prosecutors to establish intent and prove the relevant allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Civil disputes, partner claims, or regulatory action could follow different standards and may be more immediate possibilities. The reported Slack messages could nevertheless attract additional scrutiny because they may help clarify what Fire's founders knew, when they knew it, and whether the company's later public explanation was accurate. Those questions will likely determine whether this remains a reputational crisis or develops into a more serious legal dispute. The controversy is especially damaging because Fire built much of its identity around ethical and environmentally conscious shopping. Allegations of the platform improperly collected commissions strike directly at the values Gates and Kiani promoted through interviews, podcasts, magazine profiles, and celebrity-backed marketing campaigns. For a brand positioned as part of the future of responsible consumerism, accusations of misleading retailers and affiliate partners create more than a technical problem. They threaten the foundation of the company's entire message. What happens next will depend on developments that may still be unfolding privately. Fire could face demands from business partners.